Welcome back, everybody. A little bit of an extended break, but we're here for Ancient, map number 1 in this best of 1 series between MIBR and Hype Esports. I'm joined with the lovely Freddy here to get started on this series. Let's get it underway. T-side start for MIBR.
It's a pretty good map for MIBR. I think this should be a pretty, regardless of the map, this should be a pretty clean affair for them. I'm almost looking at how clean do they make it. Well, this pistol round starts off with contact being taken over on Shelf, History, and Insani. No one takes any much damage. They go their separate ways. And MIBR leaning towards this B bomb site. Hype still trying to figure out where they want to place themselves.
Yeah, bit odd. I mean, History doesn't commit to that sort of aggression. They're going to throw this little bit of a set piece on this B bomb site. A Molotov as well as a flashbang still left here. And they'll try to play this post plan in the 5v5.
Straight through the smoke. And also a dink onto Leo. There is a kit on the aforementioned Leo. And History finally does strike from Shelf. It took him a while, but now joined up with a teammate. They're going to try and make their way through Cave. Insani, he's going to have other ideas though. He doesn't want them coming anywhere close to this bomb site. This is looking like a really weird pistol round. I feel like Hype have just never had a clear direction. They've never, they see 4 people towards lane. And, they keep 2 middle, 1 A, and have 2 people outside of B? I don't know. That was a really weird CT side pistol for me.
Yeah, and even when they're trying to retake, funnily enough, you don't really even have the timings on the same pulse. So you've got one player swinging out into Cave and then the other person not backing them up to try and trade. He falls back all the way back to A, and the players that are coming up long have only showed face after the flank had appeared. It was completely disassembled, and of course MIBR, if you give them bad spacing, they are going to punish. I mean, they do have a loaded squad as far as firepower is concerned, so you've really got to keep your wits about yourself if you're Hype and try to punish when you can.
It's kind of one of their main attributes, right? Just the fact that they can destroy anyone. And that pistol round, if Hype had maybe committed to Shelf, I've seen so many times where if a team is heavy lane and they're 3 people swing from Shelf as a CT side, it's very hard to counter that. That can be a very brutal counter play as a CT side, but I don't know. Anyways, enough of the pistol round. We had 2 players save, armor on each, a kit on one of them. They'll both purchase 5.7s, but apart from that, it's going to be a full eco. They actually do have the right stack. There are 4 players towards the B-bomb site, and as soon as I say that, there's now none of them.
Eradicated. Hype will find just 1 kill. A couple of low HP bars here for Leo, but there's no way he's going to know that. MIBR get that second round pretty much uncontested. And, for all intents and purposes, you spoke about, how clean of a win this is going to be for MIBR. I think that's definitely one of the narratives. Another one for me is just how clean are these T-sides now that drop is calling? And is this going to be a permanent thing? When do you kind of realize that maybe it's not the right decision and you try to bring in a caller, or you try to make a personnel change? There's a lot of options that MIBR can go through, and when you're making a radical decision like taking exit off the calling, you're now in a very interesting spot. It feels like this lineup is really under scrutiny, and I don't really know if we're gonna have the same 5-man unit post Shanghai.
I think also there's on this T side, kind of taking your point, it's if this is difficult, that's really worrying. To put it very bluntly, that's a worry, especially against Hype. I think you were telling me that drop came as an IGL for Cologne, since Cologne, so to be fair to him, that is very fresh. That is very new. There's a little bit of a benefit of the doubt, but this is great proving grounds to kind of cement yourself. But for now, Hype taking heavy mid control. There will be slight contention. Insani, flash through the smoke, ineffective. How does he get that first frag? The flash does not affect either of the Hype players, and then there's this reaction towards the B-bomb side. Once again, how have they got those kills? This is not a round where I'm going to sit there and go, well done MIBR, that's a really good play. There should be a 5v2 for Hype right now.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily the most individually lovely round from Hype. I mean, I kind of see the idea from MIBR there is they want to kind of feign some mid presence, and once they see two players, they immediately pounce on that B bomb site. But even still, even if Insani doesn't get one kill, they should be eradicated on that B bomb site. And still, Leo, I think, was assuming that he'd already gotten the first kill onto Breno and tried to switch things up to try and transfer, but it doesn't work out. History, Malby, they're going to try to hold on to these guns. I think they should be allowed to, nobody else facing. And still, MIBR will get themselves a third round. Another one of those situations where it's like, you have an opportunity, you gotta seize it when it's given to you.
It's very... I hate having a color as like they miss their shots, but that kind of almost is. Like, they had the perfect setup, apart from maybe not having 3 players there. I think the third mid player rotated A. But apart from that, like, I don't know, really quite rough for Hype. That isn't a great foreshadowing for the future. But MIBR changing up their default now. Playing more towards mid and A. There's 2 saved rifles. There's an MP9 and a 5.7 accompanying. Insani jumps above the smoke, spots Malady, and will execute him. A really nice opening kill. And with Hype all congregated towards B, Bernazon can't actually get anything done. He doesn't... I don't know how many players he spots, so... MIBR, best reaction would be go towards A, and they are going to do that, but going through mid does scare me a little bit.
Yeah, that Molotov should be enough. There's a spam available from Cave, but it won't connect. Either way, exit. Tosses in that utility on that A site. Bomb should be able to get planted. If I'm Rainy, I'm hedging my bets to see if I can find another gun, and then just hold on to it to the following round. Either way, safe. We'll get that C4 planted, and honestly, I mean, it's just very simple CS here from MIBR. They're not trying to overcomplicate things, and I like this. Just lean on your stars, and they will get you over the line.
Yeah, I mean, like, good reaction. I guess they just didn't see as many players. That's why they do have that mid-prong. Unfortunate that Bernazon can't get a single frag. Definitely should have got at least one, but in this sort of situation, doesn't matter too much. But Hype, they will be able to save 3 rifles. This is great for economical management, you know? We're in a good position for them. However, you then need to prove something with it. You need to get around the board. They're probably going to have the AWP out this round, so they've got a very early sniper rifle. This has to be the round where they at least throw some contention, because we haven't seen that so far yet.
No, definitely. Something a little bit more coordinated, because right now it doesn't feel like Hype is really a team. I'm going to be completely honest. It's hard to win CT rounds, especially on a map like Agent, when you've got to be coordinated on your rotations, your opening starts as well. And they're going to try for mid control, and they'll get it, but again, firm lane control here for MIBR. They're going for straight B set piece, and history has just been absolutely wrecked.
Okay, at least this time, though, Vinna Beast lives up to his name. Only the 2, though. What? How does Insani make this round tangible? Exit a 1 versus 2, and one issue. Look where the bomb is. It's very far away. Molotov will force Rainier out in the open, but that favors the defense. And not the prettiest of rounds. They lost the opening kill, but through individual heroics, Hype make it work.
Yeah, Vinna finally makes something work there in that tucked-in cubby position. I mean, 2 or 3 times different players have played that position and have gotten 1 max in that kind of case. And, you know, you'd like to get a multi when you're playing that close up to the hit. And, you know, even though Insani makes it as close as it is, it's still not the greatest execution onto that B bomb site. So they're going to go back to what's worked for them, and that's the mid presence that they can tend to get. But Malby has just completely destroyed him. He's read that boost is possible, and Breno has fallen here in lane. So a lot of these opening plays from MIBR have not worked, and that means they're pretty dire straits for this next minute and 25 seconds.
I really like the lane aggression. I think MIBR have been playing so far very heavy. It's a really nice reaction for Hype to take away that space, and they actually get a bit lucky. There's just 1 player there. Like, it's so easy for them. middle as well. Like, we were commenting on that one round where Insani just shouldn't have got an opening kill. And I think this is now Hype actually winning out those battles. But 3 versus 5, this round's far from over. And especially as we're praising the T side so much, these are the type of rounds where they make kind of like the impossible happen. However, walking into the AWP is maybe one of the harder things, especially when he's just smoked them off. And it's going to be the time whistling down. And Sani's just scoped in. I wonder if they heard that.
I mean, you could also just call a straight up save at this point. You don't have the greatest bank balance, and Breno and Safe, they can purchase for themselves. It's no problem. And since there is no entry given or gifted to MIBR, just call the save, and that is exactly what they will do. So Hype get themselves their second round on the board, and MIBR, I mean, so far I am not exactly the most impressed by Drops calling, but of course we've still got, what, half of this first half to really dissect it and see if he can improve. But it's just very simple CS, and if those opening starts, those plan A's do not work out, it's very clear to me that they don't really have a plan B.
I think what makes a great IGL is possibly when you get later on in the round, in the half, and it's like, hey, how are you playing this T side once you've got all the information from all those previous rounds at your disposal? How's your reaction to the early rounds and all that jazz? I think that's when I see like a really good IGL. But with ML12, it's made it very hard because it's condensed. You know, it's only 3 rounds, but it does make a big difference. A tactical pause, interestingly used from Hype. You tend to see teams use it more when things are getting negative, but they use it here in when things are positive, and it's probably just to talk things over. And I don't think it's the worst time to call one. Just gives them 30 seconds, and they'll go into the next round with everything at their disposal. With MIBR though, they do have 1 player on a Mac 10 and 1 player on a Galil, so not the fullest of buys, but still, like, they're fine.
Yeah, it'll be alright. I mean, at the very least, they will have a purchase across the board. Breno can still get very aggressive in Cave if need be. You can just go charging down the lane, but it seems as though this is not live. I think Hype may have wanted to call a tech, but either way, yeah, this is not a live round. It is what it is, but yeah, I guess we can take stock of the game so far. MIBR get off to a hot start, I think very clearly based off of individual prowess.
For sure.
You had that boost up for Safe, you had a boost up for Insani, and then a couple B rushes. And you can see when it works, it really is just the players that are breaking you through that wall and not necessarily the strategy. But I don't know, I think the jury's still out on whether or not that's something sustainable. We'll see how this half ends, you know?
I think it'll be another restart of the round because I don't think players have the weaponry that they should have. But yeah, I agree. I'd say we wouldn't be 4-2, for instance, if MIBR didn't have the firepower. Like, it's a good 2 rounds where you're like, yep, that was just pure firepower. Which also in itself it adds a conversation of like, do Hype just not have that firepower? History obviously does. I think he's a fantastic Corper, but we've already seen him kind of lose a very easy duel.
Definitely, there's that second match medic. All right, and here we go. Oh, still not paused. Unpaused.
Only when Gaben says it can be, it shall.
Truly.
So did you get to watch much South American Counter-Strike? Because I've been through my South American Counter-Strike, but I haven't seen much in the last, like, 6 months, I'd say.
Yeah, I've been around. I mean, I think it's always very synonymous with North American Counter-Strike. I think, I mean, the time zones kind of link up, so it's always, like, in your periphery, and you're kind of taking stock of these players and the shuffles that happen, and sometimes that's enough. Like, I mean, just knowing which player's on which squad, and then the occasional CCT always helps out. You know, that's never something that doesn't. But yeah, I think in general, South America's in a pretty good spot right now. I think I've spoken to Trav about it a lot, and he always mentions that, you know, there's a lot of quantity in SA as far as talents are concerned, but not enough quality squads in South America. And we're trying to see if we can find more of them kind of hidden here in ECL. And I'd hope that we can kind of get away with a new one on the way out. But as far as this round goes, it's a lot slower from MIBR. They smoke out Red Room. They decided to take mid control from both avenues, from Shelf, from, you know, the CT elbow as well. And they've got it pretty much unscathed. This is a lot slower, a lot more like the MIBR that I know and love.
Ooh, that's Insani shooting. And if he hadn't, it probably wouldn't have caused maybe a rotation for a player Red Room. They would have called mid as clear. But for now, Hype, they've actually got great map control. 3 players towards B. I mean, they've got great map control considering what the T-side are doing. They're going to have a 4th player able to rotate towards B. And MIBR... yeah, okay, they are using this utility. For a second, I thought they might not, but they do have an open B bomb site, and they've taken so long where Hype have utilized their utility, like their nades, and it hasn't actually warranted them anything. So the bomb's going to get planted. We're in a 5 versus 5 post plant where neither side really has any util, literally a flash on both, and everyone for Hype is coming from CT. MIBR, they're just going to hold. They're not going to peek into their opposition. And Hyper are hoping, praying that someone does, but as the time whittles down, they're now going to have to start making a move. Beast, first player up. He gets dropped by exit, advantage for MIBR, and look how low the time is. Hype just took so long to initiate this that there's just no time.
What an odd round there from Hype. I mean, you know, if you're going to play B like that, you've got to have at least a little bit of utility to maybe stall out or utilize in the retake, but they didn't use any. I mean, they used all of it in the early round, which is really inadvisable, I'd like to think. I mean, to me, if that happens, you can see that they just have nothing to initiate with. They have that one flash, they can't even go off of that. They can't smoke off cave, they can't smoke off lane, and they just get screwed by their own misuse of utility. So either to compensate for that, you've got to get a little bit more aggressive and you've got to have a crossfire established on the site, or you've got to fight for some map control a little bit earlier, because that can never happen. I mean, that's exactly the result of not fighting for the B site. So Hype have a lot of work to do right now. It does feel like they're still also just very disassembled, and MIBR are taking advantage of that.
But, like, I feel like that round wasn't even bad from, like, the middle part of it, right? Like, they had 3 players towards B. They kind of were leaning over towards that part of the map. And then I was very surprised, yeah, like, I mean, it's also MIBR taking so long to counter the bomb site. There were no early duels able to be taken because they used, like, 2 nades on both the long and short smoke and saw nothing. Even I was like, oh, MIBR actually committing off this utility? And I was like, okay, it's 2 players in cave, most likely. But, yeah, just a very odd retake where they're hoping for the other team to make a mistake rather than them actually do something and try succeed. They're just playing very slow and unnecessarily.
Yeah, I think when you're an underdog, you've really got to put the pressure on the overdog to kind of show that, like, you know, we're here to hang. We can definitely try to punish you. We can try to get in your face, and you try to just force the T side to speed up their defaults, and that never happens here. They play very scared. They play far back. They give a lot of space and respect to their opponents. And MIBR say, okay, well, if you're going to do that, then we're just going to take that position. We absolutely will. And that's where you get those B executions, and nothing really happens to them on the way in. So Hype are going to have to be a little bit more hungry, a little bit more in your face here for the rest of this half, or else things are very quickly going to spiral out of control.
But for now, they have time to reminisce. They have time to sit back and wonder what's gone wrong, because there's yet again another very lengthy pause. I feel like it's kind of an El Clasico. It is always entertaining trying to break down like 7 rounds of Counter-Strike when you have all these pauses. Like, there's only so much content we have to go off on.
Yeah, especially this early, right? So fair.
Okay,
Oh,
there we
there
go.
we go.
That's something.
Ferdy, where does Ancient rank in your map pool right now?
I am not very good at playing it. I don't know why. It's just one of those maps, but I really like it. I think it's a really fun map to watch. I feel like it's one of those maps I just understand, you know? I don't know if you get me, but it's like, I just kind of understand Ancient. And I think it'd be top 2 for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I definitely was one of those like purists that were like, what is this map doing in the pool at first? And then I've really grown to like this map. It's improved a lot. T-sides are much more exciting, and you've got a lot more variety to it. So
Well,
let's see what. Yeah, exactly. And we'll see what MIBR wants to do in this round. They want to go just charging up the B lane. Breno wants to take an early engagement, and of course Vina's there for the aggression to punish, but drop with the response.
Honestly feels like that was a counterplay to the fact that Beast has played so often in that cubby. You know, smoke, it was a lurk smoke, which it is the first time they've used that, so that's a little bit of a giveaway. Like, try isolate that player, but that doesn't happen. But the issue is then Rainy peeking heaven. I feel like it's a very consistent misplay from mid players to just unnecessarily peak heaven, shelf, whatever you want to call it, and because of it, it's given MIBR a lot of space around the map. They are yet to go towards this A bomb site. That's why we've seen these maybe heavier leans towards B for hype, and now MIBR at about 50 seconds, they're going to be realizing they've got the bomb site completely for free. Issue is not a huge amount of utility for anything really.
Yeah, they've got that one smoke. They can drop it into CT spawn, but history is here to at least watch the cross if they're not careful. But yeah, here comes that smoke, and now history is null and void in this round. He can drop his Molotov, he can call for a rotation, but that bomb will go down, and it'll be yet another retake attempt here for hype with minimal utility.
Just no one has any util, but these flashes, if used well, can pop players out. Unfortunately though, MIBR have full control of A main, they have temple control, they have donut control. This is a really nice post plant for them. Beast, not sure what the plan was there, makes noise, then pulls out his utility. Leo is going to get an opportunity in A main. There's still a possibility on this. Both players towards donut. No util as we were mentioning, so they can't obstruct their vision, and Drop just lines them up. And Sani finds the third, and MIBR once again in the post plant reign supreme.
Yeah, it's always going to be difficult if you don't have a smoke, at least to cut off donut in that situation. And Insani and Drop play that position very well alongside one another. I mean, Insani, when you're giving him a chance to just become a turret in the post plant, that's where he gets very dangerous as well. Of course, his opening stats and his entering are both fantastic, but sometimes in the post plant, he just really locks in, and I feel like he always makes the right decision at the right time. So things look good for MIBR to kind of run away with this half. And, you know, in that round there, they take all this lane control, they go 1-for-1 on B, and they just pause and fall all the way back through T-spawn and walk into A. That's not usually an advisable strategy, I'd say, but for hype, with how passive they've been playing and not opting for any sort of information gain, it's a viable strategy, because how would hype ever know that lane is clear, or that mid is clear, or that, you know, donut is occupied? I mean, they don't have any of that information.
Yeah.
So it completely works out for them. Just drop one smoke CT and go.
It's kind of been the theme, I think, and they've been getting away with it for their gamble stacks towards B, but that's the round where they don't get away with it. Oh, it's a not live. Well,
the America's Classic.
It's a gift that keeps on giving. Well, we're at this stage where we're talking about maps. Do you have a favorite map in the pool? I don't know.
I think Nuke is very safely up there.
I agree.
I think
great map.
I think everybody, or at least a lot of people in the community, have that sentiment, and like, it just fulfills both both of the aspects of CS, right? It's the strategy aspect of it, with like the rotations and how you can play around with both sides, and then the firepower as well. I mean, you think about the Kato final with like Donk just like killing people through smoke and just like doing some crazy things. And it's so exciting, right? It's not boring CS. It can be very exciting. But yeah, I think in general, Nuke is up there. I used to be very excited about Inferno like a little bit ago, but I think that map has grown really stale, and so is Vertigo. And
Yeah.
you know what? I would love Train to be back. I really
Oh
would.
my god, I agree. That show match really like lit a spark back with being like, yeah, Train. It's such a Train was definitely like, because you look at Cobble and those like old like map, and you're like, yeah, Cobble was ass. Like it was fun, and it was this like memorabilia map, right, where everyone thinks of it of like good times, but as a competitive map, not good. Whereas Train was, I think, yeah, Nuke could be my number one. Inferno, I understand what you mean. Completely understand what you mean. I still quite like it. It's always been a map I've enjoyed. As like, it's like heresy saying like, yeah, I enjoy Inferno, but I actually do. I think it's a really fun map to play. Maybe not as much to watch. The T side can get very stale though. Like it is kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I've been playing it a lot more recently. And
Oh,
honestly, I think playing it has been really good. I think T side has been fun to play at least. But yeah, I think watching it has been just such a bore. Like a lot of the exciting parts of that really.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're back on us. It was 6-2, I think. It's only two best of ones as usual. Veto for the next map. I mean, it's kind of obvious. I don't like to be honest. Like the vetoes in this series, I think it was always going to be like Ancient, Nuke, Vertigo, like one of those three. And we've got both of them, and I don't see MIBR should be losing either. But I'm honestly not too sure what the situation is, but I feel like we're getting once again the kind of like full South American treatment once more.
Yeah, I see. Look, it's not as bad as North America because that's when the updates drop every time,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so we just go into like a catatonic state on stream, and we just can't really do anything. And I swear, every time it happens, it's usually like a big game's on, or there's like multiple streams going, and our admins just freak out. Everybody just like hits panic stations. So
Yeah.
you know, it's not that bad, but it is all right, I suppose. I mean, overall, I think MIBR should be happy with getting Vertigo too. Um, I think I've seen Insani. I think that's probably Insani's best map, if I had to guess.
It's looking
He's just
stats for it.
so good. He's just so good on ramp on that map. Uh,
That checks
yeah,
out, like just running up and just popping heads. Like that
yeah,
just
exactly,
checks out
exactly.
so much. He's like I'd be surprised if, do you think he can speak English? Like do you think he'd try get poached by like an EU team
See, the
or
thing is,
whatnot?
right, is the buyouts are so ridiculous in Brazil that
Yeah.
like they're locked into their region. It's very rare that any of these players would ever leave, unless it's like Fallen, who's just like such a big character that like buyouts don't really apply to him, and he can leave. Like he can just get up and
Mm.
go to a different team in a different region. But you can see that K Serrato didn't do it, and I think K Serrato is probably one of those players that I would say could have done it if he wanted to. But yeah, I mean, still, we're gonna try to figure out this tech issue. Of course, you know it is what it is. But we'll see you guys after the break. It wouldn't be an America's matchup without some tech issues, but we should be underway in just a little bit. MIBR taking on Hype. Not necessarily the most close matchup so far, but I still think there's some silver linings for Hype. I still think that when they are in the right place at the right time, they're able to get the job done. It is just a question of whether or not they can. Right now, MIBR are kind of running circles around them, and we'll see if anything can change here for the CTs if they can claw this one back.
I wonder how teams feel when like this happens. Like, I can't imagine it'd be too great, but for Insani, I guess it is pretty good, because that's a pretty assertive, not just one, but double opening kill. History is here with the AWP, yet to have any impact whatsoever. One flashbang could end his whole career, and oh, never mind. Just the good old classic body 1, 2, 3 double swing, and as soon as we got live, we've already had the round over.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, if you're Vinny or Vinna, not Vinny, and Leo, you're going to want to save.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't even know if MIBR are like keen on going for a bomb site. I think they just want to win by elim just to get away just to take away these guns. But MIBR, with a minute left on the clock, are crossing their T's, dotting their I's, making sure that no player can cause a heroic turnaround here. I just want to confirm this 7th round. They'll go together as a unit into that B bomb site. Drop has got a couple kills on his plate here. He spotted the barrel out of Vinna 100% here. That's a free kill for him. Oh, I was going to say, and he just flubbed his line just slightly. And that does give them a way out. It gives them an AK as well. But surely at this point, Exit should have that cutoff.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't the cleanest, but I don't think it matters that much. Like, Drop had already done the heavy lifting that he needs to do, and Exit has just heard Vinna Beast. Not going to be offered up the frag spots. Okay, just taking his time. We love that here. You know, he got the kill. There's no issue whatsoever. Leo has been identified. If I'm MIBR, I'm hunting. Money actually isn't that great, but yeah, maybe you should stop hunting now. Come on. You all have 1,000 in the bank account. Okay, very costly, but they don't leave any survivors, which is going to heavily benefit them going into round 10.
Yeah, if they can get this round cleanly, it's pretty much no problem from that round previous. But heavy casualties here could be a cause for concern in the future. Max loss bonus available here for Hype, so I think we'll purchase into pistols. They'll have a couple of SMGs. We'll see what they can get done with this. These rounds can get a little dangerous if you're MIBR.
For sure.
Oh. Is the HUD live here?
Oh, my camera's not on.
Yes, I am here. It doesn't seem like we have a little bit of a HUD.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we just have to do a little bit of reset there, but we'll be back in the game pretty soon.
Yeah, for sure. No bother about that. Yeah, we're 7-2 for MIBR. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how.
This is one of the games, man.
Sure, it's short. So we are going to be going back to it. You know, there's things that no one can control, and it's no one's fault whatsoever. And we should be going back into the game soon. I can't even remember what we were talking. I think what we talking. Yeah, the rounds can get dangerous, especially in South America. I feel like those lower buy rounds are the ones that, yeah, that's where you see a bit of trolling occur.
Yeah, for sure. How often have you done these kind of later streams? Because it's pretty late for you. I feel.
Honestly, it's been an annoyingly regular occurrence recently. I did 3 nights of NA last week, so that was like starting.
Those
at 11
are even
PM.
later, right?
I think it was starting at 11 PM, 2 or one of the two, and then 2 best of 3s. And I've done, like, I did 2 weeks of South America on, like, CCT one time. Like, I was just exclusively on South American games. And I was going to bed at, like, 7 a.m., waking up at, like, 6 p.m. for 2 weeks. Oh my god, that was charged.
Hopefully, this will be a stream well worth your time, because MIBR are putting on a little bit of a clinic at this point.
Any time with you, Paladin, is a stream worth my time.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
It's the first time we've actually cast together.
Yeah, I mean, we've been a part of, like, desks and stuff, but we haven't gotten the chance to cast, so glad to break it with this stupendous experience. MIBR out into the A bomb site. Breno, and we'll get an entry, but they've lost a couple of bodies, and History's been able to make the rotation in.
That was a very messy entry, and the post plant continues to have that same theme. 2 players on each other's toes in Donut. They know about the orb. He's rotated towards Temple and gets one before he falls. Exit. The XIGL completely blinded, forced away in big box. This Molotov should force him away, lands directly on him. Can he really reposition? No. He thinks that Beast will maybe swing a bit quicker, so never actually gets towards A main, and a very scrappy round. There's no real other way to put it, but Hype, they take their third.
Yeah, that's fireworks there all across the board, and Hype will recover that AWP. No harm, no foul. MIBR, you know, they've been able to build a little bit of a bank balance, so it's no sweat off their back. 8 rounds is plenty on the T side of Ancient. I think in their minds, if they can nab this last one on the way out, they'll be laughing all the way to the bank. But for Hype, I mean, you want to get into those kinds of circumstances as often as possible. Create as much chaos into these rounds and really just try to force MIBR into uncomfortable situations. Force them to clutch out in 1v1s and 2v2s. And they haven't been able to do that all too often. It's another all-out aggression of a round here into this B bomb site. And they only go 2 for 1. Make that 3 for 1. Make that 4 for 1. Blink and you miss it. Hype win their 4th round of the board. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, that second half of this Ancient. been a very turbulent half of Counter-Strike, but you know, we made it to the other end, and that's what counts. MIBR still leading 8-4 here at the end of the first half. Switching over to that defense, having an opportunity to just shut out Hype Esports right here, right now. But as far as things go, the T side are opting to go a little bit slower into this opening pistol.
On the other hand, though, MIBR kind of doing the opposite. Exit is deep in A main. He could just drop the util set right here, but instead he'll spot someone around elbow. Little does he know, there's 4 players there, and one with the bomb. There we go. Insani sees all of them. He's really playing with his life here, isn't he? He's retesting the waters, but they'll be just funneling into Safe's hand. The dual Berettas, they do drop the aforementioned bomb. However, that's all the success he'll get. Molo will impede their progress in Donut, and Hyper just kind of stuck in middle with, sure, Vinner Beast is on the B bomb site, but how do they get there?
Yeah, they're gonna have to try and cross somehow, some way. There are 2 players here to cut off that bomb's cross, and if it doesn't get over, then all this work that Vinna Beast has done will not matter. Vinna can't even confirm that kill now. This is all over the shop at this point. Vinna's trying to run right back to the B bomb site. Now he's going to fight forward. He has teammates available, but nobody's able to actually cross out of the plant spot at all. And Insani is just taking kills back and forth. But Vinna finally does make it. He still has a chance at this 1v2. He still has an opportunity to cut these down to 1v1s. But Exit is there. My goodness, what a weird round there.
I just don't understand how Vinner Beast isn't, like, apart from the space, how does he not get a single frag? And we saw, I was also critiquing the city side pistol for Hype, and I was like, I don't really know what the plan was there. How do you have both of your pistol rounds with that kind of same sentiment of, like, you have, it seems so, like, awkward and lost, and sure, you do get this really good lurk from Vinner Beast, and the bomb does go down, but that should have been a round 1. Especially because, like, what, Rainy gets a triple, and still no success, but 9-4, MIBR, they could just be kind of booking themselves into a win here on map 1. Yeah, I think the scoreline is somewhat misleading as, right. That's a shot and a half, but yeah, the score, like, this actually could have very easily been a lot closer, because MIBR, they do the exact same stuff they did at the end, they did at the beginning, they just don't get away with it. And imagine if they never did get away with it.
Hell, it could have been a completely opposite score. I mean, it could have been 9-4 to Hype. Who knows? But right now, MIBR, they do not care. They're going to take all these rounds for themselves. Hype will have themselves a purchase here in round number 15. And MIBR really are just 2 buy rounds away from just locking down this map here. And they'll get a lot of good weapons, utility to utilize in this round. Hype really are up against it, to say the least.
It's a must-win round, and a missed window smoke is not a great start to that. You can see Insani's like, where do I throw this grenade? The Molotov bounces back into the smoke. Now they're going to have to use the second one, and a smoke as well. Oh, what in miscommunication is this? Hype, sure, they do get mid-control, but at what cost?
Minute 25, you have 1 smoke and 2 mollies to really get yourself into a site. It's going to be a tough ask for them. They're holed up in cave here. They're waiting for the smoke to dissipate so they can at least try to go at Breno, but Breno will just get the information and fall back. A much more patient approach there from him, and I do like that. Nade down the lane, and Trop try to get up close and personal with his ME9. Utility out in hand as Leo falls, and now more pressure being added onto Hype as 50 seconds rings out, and they've got to make a decision. They're going to hedge their bets back to this A site, but that's where Exit and Insani lie in wait.
It's also kind of where MIBR read. You can see Safe is peering towards Red Room, and I think this smoke is going to 100% confirm that. A re-smoke towards Donut's going to force them to wrap trap into CT. Very awkward, and the spray is actually going to connect onto safe. Drop and Bernison currently blocked away. They can't do anything. Trying to catch the timing, but History patiently waiting. Only good for the first. 2 still in Donut. Remember that. And the bomb, it's being planted for them. What? Did they not realize there were players in Donut? And is this still going to work? How? 8 seconds left. Bomb will be planted. Bernison reveals himself by stepping towards CT. He didn't have to step. They didn't know where he was. And Hype somehow clutch away that round.
Oh, that's gross. That's gross. And finally, I mean, it's a mistake committed by MIBR, and it's actually punished. Bit odd there that you have a double-up donut setup and none of it works. But Hype, they do find a way to snap the money of MIBR, considering some of these rounds have been pretty tight. And we'll have a little bit of extra time here to try and rack up some rounds.
A fast play towards A. Met with little resistance. Okay, it's an anti-eco. This should be fine. I'm just in shock that MIBR don't win that last round. Like, yeah, that was something. A bit of danger. Bit of danger. It should be adverted. Yeah, okay. Only using 2 players, it's fine. Money slowly building up. Would have preferred maybe to keep a little bit more, but Hype, they're keeping this map contentious.
Let's see what they can do here. 4 rounds the difference to try and close this gap. But MIBR will have a very healthy purchase here. Still no opt for safe. I mean, hasn't really opted in for the sniper bar a couple of rounds on that offense. And I do think that he can lay down the law with that gun on that A site specifically. Instead, it's really has just been the Insani show. Aggressive here in middle this time around. Are Hype aware of it? Yes, they are. They just catch a sliver of his shoulder and take him down. But Breno's done some heavy damage to the floorboards of Cave. And that means that Hype, even with the man advantage, will still have to take matters into their own hands and slow the pace of this round down.
Where's Bomb gonna go? I could see them wrapping towards Donut here. Maybe throwing... Well, yeah, well, for now they're just holding for a ramp push. They understand, they've got the man advantage. MIBR have to make a move, but luckily for MIBR, they don't make that move. So Hype Esports don't actually take advantage of anything. And okay, they're not going to wrap towards Donut. They're going to fake this mid presence. They're going to take away any information there was and head towards B. This flashbang in Cave actually just kind of confirms that. I feel like they could have contacted that. It felt a little bit unnecessary. And a smoke towards Cave at a perfect time. Bernison gets spammed, tries to give it a little bit back, but be forced away. And with 25 seconds, they're just running through that smoke. And okay, there is a smoke short, but Exit gets 2 as Rainy tries to push through. Bernison reveals himself a little bit too early from long, and in a 3 versus 3, the post plant with no kit must succeed.
Real tough situation here. Vina does still have a Molotov to stall out this post plant a little bit longer, and maybe even for one for the bomb. But safe drop. They've encroached upon this B bomb site. They found 2 kills amongst the 2 of them, and now it's all onto Vina. Not necessarily the opera of this squad, but he's gonna have to get it done. That Molotov could be everything though, as time continues to rot away. There's no kit available, and Vina's found another. A no-scope connects, and now it's all onto Exit. Time has expired. There is no chance for MIBR in this one. Exit will not live. Hype and Vinabeast in the 1v3 will make this round and this map go on for just a little bit longer.
What a round from Vinabeast. I don't know if you noticed as well though, but in that 1 versus 2, Exit just did a lap around the pillar. Like, I don't know what the point was. I was watching that and I was like, why is he just running around the pillar? but I feel like he kind of fed that 1v3. Like the first swing, you know what? He hits the shot, he backs away, and he's just trying to survive. But that 1v2, they had to hunt him down. They had to play the buddy role, and they had to just take those fights. But they weren't able to do that, and they isolated themselves. And sure, he just hit a really nice no scope. But I feel like that was a very poor 1v2 specifically played from MIBR. And just what a weird round with people running through smokes, and also Bernison giving up an opening kill to entry onto the bomb site when it was long and the rest of his teams are smoked off on short.
Yeah, just a very odd way to clutch that round. But Beast, you gotta give him credit. Had a couple windows to hit the necessary shots and connected. So gives Hype a little bit more of an opportunity here. Another tech timeout, unfortunately. Is that number 3? Lucky number 3?
Oh man, we're far past 3 now. We've exceeded that number long ago. I feel this is a really like baptism by fire for me coming back.
Yeah.
It's my first ever ECL South American game.
The most America's broadcast you could get. And
yeah.
You know what? It's a good experience to have.
I call it like character building.
Yeah.
Like if you can get past this, you're unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
But seems like
the short one,
we're back.
So that's good.
Yeah, it was just a quick disconnect from Beast. He gets so hype after the clutch, you know, celebrating, kicks out his Ethernet cable. He's back.
That's the reason we'll go with.
Yeah.
We don't actually have an official reason, so that's what we'll make up.
Literally making it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, full save here for MIBR. Bar Breno's Zeus. So we'll see what he gets done with that. That's really all they got left, and it's just an all-out stock pistol buy here in middle. I'm gonna consider going just straight through that smoke. No, they'll just go spamming instead. Rennie should have a couple of freebies here, and he'll only get one. So one said freebie locked in, and Leo will try to get some kills back. They've got the bomb site while all this has happened, and that should be round number 8 for Hype.
This game has got very interesting very fast, right? Like,
yeah.
When did this happen? When did we have like a 2-round game where one gun round can give Hype the lead? Like, this was not what I like hypothesized. Like, this should have been like a 13-5 type beat, but no, we're one gun round away from Hype exceeding the value of MIBR.
It is worrying to me, the signs I'm seeing here from MIBR in this game. You know, maybe it's travel back from Cologne or something, or
they traveled a long day ago, I feel like.
Yeah, it's been a while. So like
yeah,
even that excuse is kind of expired. So who knows? I mean, this team is still definitely going through some growing pains, even though this 5-man unit's been here for a while. That captaincy change seems to have rocked them a little bit more than people might think, but all can be forgiven if they can close it out right here, right now. Safe has got himself the sniper rifle, and MIBR have everything that they can ask for. It's on Hype now to continue this good look here, or get sent packing to Vertigo, our next map of the series.
Oh, that's a big opening kill. Insani has also somehow not been trade fragged. He has... he's lucky for this, and oh, this is really weird. Wait, they're gonna go through the smokes at the same time? How is Insani alive? My god, what is going on? How has Rainy got a double there? Paladin, I'm in shock.
Swinging your knife in the smoke is not necessarily optimal. They're gonna go charging into this B bomb site. History has found this kill, and Safe doesn't like what he sees. He's gonna back away. Tuck tail, give Hype their 9th round. This is anything but a stomp at this point in time. Hype have just found answers upon answers, and MIBR just look completely just out of their depth. They don't look like the MIBR that people get excited about. It's one that seems discombobulated in their setups. It's an MIBR that do not have all the individuals awake beyond Insani's heroics.
I'm not gonna lie, this feels like almost the MIBR we've been seeing at these international events. Like they at both the Esports World Cup and ESL Cologne, they've not been looking very good. You know, they got dumpstered by Spirit in Esports World Cup. They literally got 7 rounds across 2 maps. 13-2 by Mongols. Like, that's a really bad outing. I assume that sparked the change with leadership, and then, you know, they lose to actually Heroic on this map. Beating Heroic as well is not a positive. You know, they're playing with a stand-in, but then getting owned by 9Z and Pain, I feel like that's really worrying when you start bringing up the whole conversation of regional rivals, and then you go back to South America and you're losing to Hype potentially. Like, what's that about?
Well, it's still not over just yet. We'll see if that worst case scenario does tend to crop itself up. They've still got guns to deal with the situation, and Safe just gets blindsided by that flashbang from Vinabeast. Great work there from Rainy, but he will get taken down straight through that smoke from Insani. So back to the even instead of a 4v4, and Hyper making the right call to just contact into this B bomb site straight through the utility. Sure that nade softens him up, but Insani's made the rotation, and so is Breno. The crossfire is established, and all that good work that Hype had just gets completely eradicated. 11 finally found for MIBR. Maybe they can turn a corner now.
I was just thinking at the start of that round, I was like, Hype have actually taken middle better than MIBR were taking middle. If you kind of cast your mind back, there was a few of those rounds where like Insani would be sent out, or Safe would go for an open pick, and there was very ineffective flashbangs from the favorites. But then right there, you know, Rainy, perfect util for him to succeed. And if they'd actually just gone to that beam site faster, there would have not been an Insani to rotate in, because that's what wins the round out. It was a really good rotation from Insani, and I do love the fact that he gets his first kill in Red Room and then gets his last kill by Cubby on B. Like, all of that happened in a sequence of like 15 seconds, so he's our player to watch for a very good reason.
Definitely so. And now they're going to go through with that mid play again, and again at Safe's AWP. He's found himself one, and he'll find himself another. Leo just cannot pull that trigger on the ground. And unfortunately, history's only found that one singular kill. It'd be a 1v5 in total. The ace necessary. He'll switch over to the rifle, but Breno is there. MIBR have finally stabilized this ship. And they surely should be able to close it out now, considering the finances have been just destroyed on the Hype side.
Yeah, that was like a real all or nothing type round, which they just found no success. What I'm even more impressed is the fact that Safe actually lands the shot on the player that was further back. Because he didn't have the opportunity on the close player, right? So you would have thought he got rummed down, but that doesn't happen. And also Insani just like keeping up the good work. You know, he gets his 1 kill of the round. He's 23-10. And while speaking of Safe, right position, right time once again. Flashes ineffective. How on God's green earth has he been able to get a second again? And MIBR, they are flooding towards this A-bomb site. Flashes propelling them out. Exit holding the spray. And a 1 versus 4 is needed, but that's not going to be the case. And MIBR take the first map in this best of 2.
Yeah, it was a grueling best of 1 year for MIBR. It's a little lethargic, a little kind of tough to get it over the line, but you know, they eventually did, and you know, you kind of say just forgive and forget. MIBR get that best of 1 victory and look to kind of compound that success moving into theoretically their pick of Vertigo. So yeah, I think there's definitely some question marks. We'll definitely continue to point fingers, but